we're going to do another 1970s sample from scratch, this time in the vein of Isaac Hayes. So let's get into it. So Isaac Hayes is one of my favorite all-time artists, man, and man, he is the definition of soul, straight out of Memphis. So let's start out with the drums. We have acoustic drums, and they sound kind of like this. This is what I have. This is a basic drum pattern. Let's go. Super simple. Kick, snare, hi-hat, right? With some toms. You hear them toms in there? Gotta throw that in there, right? Open hi-hat. You know what I'm saying? Hey. Oh, I gotta get that flam in there too. I usually like use my fingers when I'm doing these drums. I like the finger drum. So to do a flam, you just take a snare and just ba-da. I've talked about that many times, but that's super simple. Other thing you need to do is add some reverb, because that's too dry. So you just add some reverb to this, whatever reverb plugin you like. Right? I have it on a bus, so I can dial in as much as I want or as little as I want. Super simple. So that's our drums. Next item on the list is organ. You got to have organ, man. So let's talk about this organ chord progression. And there's a couple of notes I want you guys to get about the organ. Here we go. I'm playing all basic chords, by the way. You know, minor chords, major chords, and a diminished chord at the end. See that? It's just 3 or 4 notes. Diminished. Now I did a little roll at the end. That's me sliding the fingers up the keyboard. That's it. That's a nice way to bring it back to the top. Or you could do it at any part of the loop that you want. The other thing is very important with the organ is you want these notes to connect. You don't want breaks in between. Like when you play the organ, you want the organ chord, the chords to connect. You don't want them to break. So when you go from one chord to the next, for example, like if you want to go from here to here, you don't want to let go. You want to, see what I'm saying? You hear the difference? Versus this. So you can see that in the MIDI, these notes are connected. So that's that. Also notice there's reverb on this organ as well. This is a stock sound, by the way. Moving on to the bass line. Now the bass, I'm just using the same bass line as I use for the organ. So the lowest notes on the organ, I just did the same thing on the bass. And that sounds like this. Again, I use some ghost notes, you know, just to fill it up a little bit, make it sound more soulful. Right? Next note. All the root notes. Last note. That's all it is. The sound I'm using is Verysickbeats. I was going to use a stock sound, but it just didn't sound right to me, so I just used my own one shot from Verysickbeats. I'll leave links to everything that I'm using down below in the description if you're interested. All right, so now let's move on to the guitar. And this is a stock sound, classic clean guitar. This might sound kind of cheesy at first, but we're going to do some stuff to it. Check it out. Same chords as the organ. Right? Now notice these chords have 6 notes. Some of them have 5, some of them have 4. But when you play the guitar, if you have a real guitar, a guitar has 6 strings. So I kind of want to make that sound more realistic. Right? And notice they're not all being played at the same time. I have it going like a strum. This is how you make it kind of sound like a strum. You know, move these notes over some. You know? To make it sound better, I added some effects. So the effects, I opened up a pedal board. Whatever pedal board you have, you can add a chorus, blue echo, tremolo, and then a wah-wah pedal. That sounds like this all together. Let me put these in here. See, that's a big difference, right? Let me take it out. Put it back in. If y'all want me to make a video on how to do that, just let me know in the comments. But anyway, moving on. Strings. Again, you got to have strings. I keep saying this. And the strings, I created a melody and made it into an octave. And that sounds like this. All right, add reverb. You have to have reverb on your strings. Now these strings I'm using, these are stock strings. Yeah, Cinema. Another tip for the strings is have the notes kind of connect, kind of like the organ, but they can actually overlap. These strings, notice this right here. See this? Look at this. See how this is overlapping this? That makes it sound more realistic. That's another little trick you can do. Make them overlap just a little bit because it just helps the connection even better. The way I'm coming up with these melodies is really I sing it in my head when I'm listening to the chorus or whatever I, hear, and I just play that. And if you can't play it all the way through, just do 2 bars or 1 bar at a time. Don't overthink it. So that's how I did that. Now the horns, that's the next element, the horns. And all I did was 2 chords. It's a lot of space in here. You see this? Just 2 chords, 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end. And I threw a ton of reverb on it. And actually the sound I'm using, the free Contact, which comes with this factory library. I'm using the trombone section. And I threw a bunch of reverb on it. And that sounds like this. Just a straight minor chord. The second chord is at the end, which is that diminished chord. Right? That's it. That's all I did. Moving on. Flutes. Now, Isaac Hayes uses flutes a lot. I kind of wanted to create a melody that would go along with the chords. So again, I just sung it in my mind as it was playing. So I'm thinking like orchestrally. You know what I'm saying? All right, it's like simulating 2 flutes, so they're harmonizing with one another. And you'll hear that a lot in Isaac joints. He might have 2 flute players or just more than 1 flute player, like kind of harmonizing. Now I really didn't like this, and this is a stock sound in Logic. So what I did was I played the same theme, but on my Yamaha keyboard, and just just straight audio, and that sounds like this. See what I'm saying? So I just played that. Y'all never see that on my videos, but it's here. My Yamaha Mo X F8. Last but not least, you have to have a piano. You don't have to have a piano, but as long as you have some type of keyboard, it could be Rhodes, piano, it could be Wurlitzer. But in this case, we're gonna use a piano. So I haven't recorded it yet, but we're going to. And what I'm going to do is kind of improvise, and I'm going to show you guys a hack because all of you guys are not keyboardists. You might not be able to play the piano, and it's all good. I'm here for the beginner, I want everybody to get this. Right. I'm going to play along with the organ, but I want to play it in a bluesy type of style, right? And I'm in the key of C minor. So I could do something like this. just something real bluesy. And this is the blues scale right here. Say, man, my hands, they can't flow like that, man. So I'm gonna give you something super easy, man. go over to MIDI effects, over to the left. We're gonna hit transposer, boom. This is also stock. We're gonna transpose up 1 semitone. See this? So now it sounds like this. Right? That's a different key. But that's okay, because I want you to be able to play all white keys and still have that scale. And how you do that is go to this scale where it says chromatic, click on chromatic, and then scroll down till you see minor blues. Boom. Now watch this. All white notes I'm hitting on my keyboard. So that way you don't even have to worry about the black keys. You just play all white keys and it's gonna sound good. You see what I'm saying? Let me show you, man. So you know I ain't lying. So you can just, any white. Same on this keyboard. You know what I'm saying? You get it? You get what I'm saying? So now let's go ahead and record something. And I'm using this transposer to help me play this minor blues. Now, if you're a musician, of course, you don't need this. I'm just showing you guys who can't really play the keys. This is how you can get away with that. All right, check it out. And I was just messing around. So let me edit some of these notes out that I wasn't feeling. And sometimes less is more, but this just gives you an idea. If you want to add saturation to this, of course, you know, you go to your master, your stereo out, and then just add some type of saturator on here. I'm gonna go ahead with Artoria's Tape Mellow, give it that extra 70s vibe to it. Starting from the top, here we go with the drums. And I'm gonna add each instrument one at a time. All right, so you can really get this. So you can hear the vibe, right? Gotta pay attention to sound selection. Next sound coming up, organ. Right? I'm gonna do guitar next. Guitar right here. Now I'm gonna do horn next. See that? It's getting bigger, right? And then I'm gonna add bass. Let's add strings. Now we're gonna add flute. Last but not least, piano. And again, you created your own sample, which means you can flip it yourself. Combine all these, just like I've been doing throughout this series. You can take this sample, bounce it into another track, and then just flip it. For example. You see what I'm saying? Like videos like this, I will leave a playlist Matter of fact, say you want to do something like Barry White, check out this video. Y'all let me know in the comments below who else you would like to see, and maybe I will cover that person if I get enough comments on that. So again, I will leave all the links below of everything that I'm using. I hope that was helpful. It's your man JFILT. I'm sending peace and positive energy. Yeah.